Summer is here, which means we all want to look and feel our best. A GLP-1 may be right for you. Visit orderlymeds.com to learn more about which GLP-1 you could be eligible for. Getting started is fast, easy, and happens virtually through telemedicine from licensed professionals. Check it out for yourself. Go to orderlymeds.com/podcast. That's orderlymeds.com/podcast. Taking care of yourself feels great. Compounded medications are not FDA approved. Eligibility required and determined by a licensed provider. Individual results may vary. See website for details.
We have the tech to get food delivered in 15 minutes, but we all have horror stories about buying tickets. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage. Get amazing tickets in just a few taps. Fees are included, so what you see is what you pay. And the Game Time guarantee means authentic tickets at the best price every time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to concerts, sports, comedy, and more with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
Strap in and get ready. This is the Wild Will Throwdown. We're your all-access pass to the world of short-track racing, covering everything from regional results to national highlights. Each episode, we dive into upcoming schedules and bring you exclusive interviews with special guests from the heart of the motorsports industry. Now, here is your host, Wild Will Greenwell.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Wild Will Throwdown podcast, season number 5 with Soldiers Warrior Partnership. And my name is Will Greenwell, of course, and we did not have a show last week. It was Fair Week for us, a.k.a. Hell Week for a lot of us here as we went to different things. We'll recap that here in a second. But now we'll welcome back the co-hosts of the Wild Will Throwdown, Mr. Hawk Harold Adams and Young Money Dalton Connor. And Harold Adams, I'll start with you. Good to be back this week in the Sahara Desert.
Yeah, sure is. I'd say the dog days of summer are already here, and I tell you what, it is hot.
Yeah, Dalton, I know you in the Paradise Lawn and Landscaping world has to be hot.
Yeah, it's brutal to say the least, but we're plugging along, drinking lots of water.
Now, Harold Adams, you and I, we kind of had a hell week ourselves. You know, we went, kicked it off Sunday night. Obviously, we did not have a podcast episode. We had the I-65 Speedway on that Sunday night. We kicked it off. Did not have sprint cars. They rained out. So we had the Pure Stocks, the Hornets, and the Crown Vics. Great show there. Monday night, we rained out at I-65 for the go-karts. We came back on Thursday night, did not think we were going to get the show in. Mother Nature, literally 10 minutes to the west, it was pouring down, and we were dry, a little bit of a sprinkle here and there, but it helped the track. We had the Crown Vics and the Hornets, the Smack Talker Scrappers for 2,000 to win. Friday night, we rain out, and then, of course, Saturday, Sunday, blah, 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 we're there. So it was a long week for us.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we had a lot of on the schedule there anyway. And then we had to fight Mother Nature like every event, you know what I mean? Are we going to race? Are we not going to race? Are we going to get there? We're not going to be able to do this, that. But I actually see more racing than I kind of thought we was going to last week, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you and I, we went to the Indianapolis Speedrome Saturday night, this past Saturday night. Sportsdrome Speedway canceled. Sunday, Windy Hollow was supposed to have a Hell Tour Summer Nationals event for the super late models. They rained out. But look, we got here in Jasper 7.5 inches of rain. For any dirt track in the area, it was almost impossible for our area to get the torrential downpours. But we had a lot of flooding down here in Jasper area for the Patoka Lake and the rivers that go through the country here. You know, and then of course you look at now this week, we are hitting the absolute brutal extreme heat warnings all over the Midwest and the South. So, you know, that's causing a little bit of an issue, but we're going to talk about a lot of that coming up. But looks like we are going to get racing in this weekend. Just going to be hot, maybe a chance of a downpour here and there from the humidity and all of that fun stuff. But we'll talk about that towards the end of the show. But basically, gentlemen, can you believe this, Dalton? The cross flags have waved for the 2026 season. That's hard to believe. We are already over the halfway through, Dalton. Can you believe that 2026 racing season is halfway over?
Yeah, that is. I didn't even know that until you just said that. That's crazy to think about. I haven't ran as many races as last year, I don't think, or maybe I have. Maybe I haven't won as many. That's why
Probably.
my memory's fogged on. Yeah, my memory's fogged on the shit I tear up every weekend. But no, it is crazy. Yeah, that's playing after every single weekend for me. Usually, it seems like I usually wreck or win. There's no in between.
One extreme to the other, just like our weather
Checkers
here.
or wreckers.
There you go.
Yep.
Checkers or wreckers.
Only way to do it.
That's it. But, this week we're back. We're excited. We took off a week. We haven't taken off a week a long time since last week. So we wanted to come back full throttle this weekend. But Harold Adams, you got the topic of the week this week. So hit it on us.
Hey, we're going to kind of continue what we started here.
Oh, boy.
I know we've already kind of touched on this in the past, but I mean, hey, the weather is just dominating the whole scene right now. Either it's like last week, raining all the time. Now it's extreme heat. At the beginning of the season, we had all the cold. So it's like, you know what? We was trying to get all the races in, and there was so many of these meteorologists in the area, if you know what I mean, on the computer.
There's
saying,
a lot of them.
Yeah, and they all think they know, how to handle the situation. So it's like, hey, we should race. No, we shouldn't race. We should cut this division out or this heat race out or change the schedule around. But I mean, it's like, it is our own. Everybody has their own opinion about it, but it's like, you have to put yourself in the spot of the promoter. It's like, what do you do? How do you please? Well, we already know you can't please everybody.
Yes.
So it's like, what's the best lesser of the evils? You know what I'm saying? Which way do you go? Because we was talking to Dean Worrell out there at the I-65 Speedway, and he was a mess. Thursday, worried about the rain. What should you do? And so it's like, if you think about it, a lot of these people don't really think about it. It's like, put yourself in their spot. I mean, what is the best thing you do in that situation?
Well,
and you know what I'm saying? It's like, how do you really guess what it is? Because the weather around here changes so quickly.
Yes, Dean
That's
made
the
a great
bad
point
thing about it.
Dean made a great point, and you nailed the nail on the head. What do you do? There's no easy explanation on what you can do.
Yeah.
But you know what Dean said?
Yeah, because
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, it looked like we was looking at the radar Thursday when we first got there, and it looked like we had no chance. It was coming at us, and everybody's like, oh, is it raining up there yet? We don't want to come up there. People were texting me and you, asking us what's going on. Have they called it yet? Oh, it's going to rain. It's raining at my house. We was like, well, it's still dry here. We're going to give it a shot. And like you said, the weather sort of broke up a little bit. It was raining hard down in Jeffersonville. It rained in Salem. And somewhere or other, we just got a little sprinkle.
Yeah. So, my point about it is, I like what Dean said. Yes, we are clear here. We are going to get this race in, it looked like. But he said a good point to us when you talk about a promoter's nightmare. If we were going to rain out, I wish it would just rain us out right now, because our stands aren't going to have many people in them anyways, because people are already, wherever they're coming from, it's pouring down there. They're worried about a rain out.
Right.
So then you're going to lose money on the
stands.
stands.
The drivers were waiting too.
Yeah, so drivers, why load up the car? Why waste $50, $60 worth of fuel and drive up there, and I'm just going to turn around and come home? Because looking at the weather radar, this ain't going to happen. We're not going to get this in. And, that's when you and I, Dean Worrell, Mike Gibson come into play on everybody texting and all of that fun stuff. Luckily, the stands did fill up more than I thought they were going to for that big event. And for anyone saying, well, it was just a Crown Vic and Scrapper race, yeah, you're paying $2,000 to the winner of each. I mean,
right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a hefty purse. But, the Mother Nature thing, it's hard to deal with.
Yeah, and plus, like you said, he was worried about the crowd, but he was worried about the car count too, because some of them were kind of waiting to see what the weather was going to do. And once it got closer and things sort of broke up a little bit, the cars came rolling in. We had a great car count.
Oh, yeah, and he won at 30 and 30 was his goal, 30 Crown Vics and 30 Scrappers. He well overhit that from the scrapper point. He was about 31 Crown Vics. Perfect car count for him. He was happy. You could tell he was just calmed down. And look, if I were Dean Worrell, I would have been stressed too. Trust me, a lot was riding on the line for that event. People just don't think, well, hey, it's as easy as just, hey, I'm going here and I'm going to say, hey, thank you for leasing this place to me. I'm going to put on an event. There's a lot more than that goes into it. Dalton, as a racer, what would you describe? I don't know. How do you look at a weather event? Possible chance of rain, 50-50, 60% rain. What do you look at?
I've always said, literally always, there's nothing worse than rain on a race day. Nothing worse. So I raced Anderson Speedway this past weekend in my modified, and they were calling for a little bit of rain, not as much as what you guys got down there, but they were calling for a little bit right about midday point. And so we go out for first practice, do our deal, go out for second practice, and then all of a sudden, about 10 minutes after modified second practice, the downpour just came on in. I mean, it rained good for probably 45 minutes, and about the 30-minute mark, people started to pack some stuff up, about ready to leave, like they were going to call it. And then all of a sudden, skies cleared up, sun came out and dried the track in about 15 minutes, and we were good to go the rest of the night. So I feel like it's very rare to have those occasions to where it's going to downpour for 30, 45 minutes, and then you're good for the rest of the night. Usually, if it's going to rain, it's going to rain, and they're going to cancel it. Yeah. But we got pretty lucky, and sounds like you guys did too.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, we did, but like the Sportsdrome Saturday, it was interesting that Mike went ahead and called it off way early, like around noon or so. And that ended up being a good decision because, there was a lot of iffiness in the weather there, chance of rain all night. It looked good earlier, like actually Friday night. I thought Saturday evening we'd be good. But then Saturday morning come around, and then they was talking about more rain in the evening. So Mike made a good decision there because it rained a lot down here. Of course, me and you went up to Indy, and we got a rain delay up there too, but they got the races in.
Yeah, and that's another thing. When you do have a race, when is enough? When do you call it for the fans and the people? Indianapolis Speedrome, they had a lot of non-racing fans there this past Saturday. They had the school bus crowd and your firework crowd. So then you have to move all of that around. Well, when do you have this? Is it too late to do this or that or the other? They moved the school buses up, tried to drive the track a little bit more with the school buses, made the crowd happy.
That's a lot of work.
Yes, a lot of work. And they had the fireworks after the show and whatnot. So there's a lot that goes into that stuff and trying to get your program in and how is it going to hurt your stand count? How is it going to hurt your car count? How is it going to do this? How is it going to do that? And just cause a hell on your parade. That's basically what Mother Nature has done lately.
Yeah, and that's Kevin and his crew. They do a heck of a job with those rain delays. You know what I mean? I mean, we have seen them time and time again get those rain delays, and they get that track dried, and we're back to racing, as quick as possible.
Yeah. So I mean, there you go. I mean,
and another thing too, I want to, and especially for Dalton, I want to bring this up.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dalton, Harold's in a talking mood tonight, ain't he?
We
I had a week off. Got all this built up, you know what I'm saying? No, I want to ask Dalton, let's switch it from being rainy. How about being like the weather is now, like in a super hot, over 100 degree, heat index? Is it too hot to race maybe sometimes? What do you think, Dalton?
No, I'm not a pussy. No, but in all honesty, I absolutely cannot stand when there's a chance of rain on race day. I feel like you're just waiting around for them to cancel. The heat-wise, you know they're not going to cancel, so that's not really in the back of your head, but it is in the back of your head like, damn, this race is going to suck. I mean, it's going to be hot today, but the only type of car, I should say, class of car, that really worries me when it's like this is racing my street stock, just because it could be a 50 degree fall night and you're still going to be cooking in that thing just because of all the heat that gets built up in the interior. Now, like I said, though, to start out, I'm not a pussy, so you don't really think about it when when you're going to be a driver, I guess. Maybe some do. But, yeah, give a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Finally get some applause, Dalton.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, I always get booed over here. But, no, for real, as a racer, I never really even think about the heat. Yeah, it's going to suck, but, hell, I'm out in it all day, every day anyway. So what's different on Saturday?
There you go. I like it.
Yep.
That's a good topic of the week, and that mixes it in. We went from one extreme to the other, which was rain, and we go to this week to the desert heat and the humidity. Actually, I should go back on that. I would rather have desert heat. It's a dry heat, not this Midwest southern humidity that we're experiencing where you can't even breathe.
Yeah, that's the stuff that sucks when you go outside and you're hard on to try and catch a breath because of all the humidity. That's the shit that actually does suck. The heat's not as bad. It's when it's super humid with it.
No doubt about
Brutal.
it. Very brutal. But, gentlemen, there's another topic of the week this week that I want to discuss. I don't think it's a very topic of the week. I'm not going to claim it as a topic of the week. But, every week we look at news stories coming out. And this has been on my mind for about 2 weeks. I was going to have it last week. I was going to talk about it. And this week I was going to talk about it if we had the show. Obviously, we're here. There was an incident at the Brownstown Speedway in Jackson County that I really want to talk to. And Harold Adams, you sent me the video of it. You should know what it is. It is basically the car that was during qualifying. The car, late model, spun out over in turn 1 and 2. Another car comes down to take the green flag. The car swerves right to avoid it. He goes over to the berm and flips the car during qualifying, group qualifying. The reason I want to bring this up is because I'm looking at comments, I'm looking at the thread, I'm looking at the discussion threads on Facebook and social media, and really made me think, when are we going to allow the power to be back in the flagman's hands? Because there's an issue with, let me just go on and be honest here. We have some dumbasses as race directors in the press boxes at a lot of tracks across the nation. And they're not good. Let's be honest. They're not good at all. They're not good at multitasking, and being a race director, you have to have a good eye. Well, this incident occurred by someone not watching and not saying, hey, there's a caution, there's a car spun in turn 1 and 2. They're looking at the car going, saying, hey, go, go, go. And now the flagman's like, well, what do I do? Looks over, already sees the car that's turned around. But really, you're in a hard position because they bitch at you because the race director has to make that call, not the flagman. So,
Not the
Harold,
puppet.
what's that?
I said, yeah, not the puppet.
Not the puppet. And that's exactly what flagmen are today, and I hate seeing it. So my question poses, and I'll give it to Harold Adams first before we go to Dalton, but the flagman has the best seat in the house. So in my opinion, they need to be given back some jurisdiction, in my opinion, on the flagging and when do we throw caution, when do we throw a lap car flag, when do we do this, when do we do that, when do we do your sister's ass? I don't care what the point may be.
Well, yeah, I think you make a good point. Yes, the flagman should have a little bit more leeway in making some decisions, but there's where you run into a problem because then you're butting heads with the race director because we've seen it happen before when a flagman will say something or maybe even throw a flag for something, and then the race director's up there having a fit like, hey, I didn't tell you to do this, and then, well, I seen this happen over here. Then you got your conflicts. That's always going to happen because what if that flagman at Brownstown threw the yellow, but then that car got going real quick or something? Then they're like, hey, you ruined that guy's qualifying time.
But hey, go back to reality. Let's talk about exactly what happened on the track. Shoulda, woulda, bita, coulda. If Candy and Nuts, if Candy was nuts and butts and Candy and Nuts, look, if he spun out and that flagman threw a caution flag, everybody's fine. Think about that. Everybody's fine because that's what happened.
When I seen that, I was like, why did they not see that? And that's a dirt track. I've always talked about how they just love those cautions at the dirt track. So it's like, I could not believe they didn't throw it. So I can't believe they didn't see it.
Well, here's my point. Let's talk about exactly what happened on the track. All right, the cars were going to be there anyways. So here comes the car, qualified the first three out. Or I think they do 2 cars at a time. First 2 cars go out. He spins out. Next car goes. If the flagman had it in their control, hey, the race director's not telling me this, but I think it's in the best jurisdiction to go on and throw this flag, then guess what? That guy wouldn't have been on his lid upside down in turn 1 and 2.
Right.
Dalton, what's your opinion on this?
Yeah, well, I'm not the biggest fan of race directors, considering I got screwed over at Anderson this past Saturday by the race director. But but no, like, I know what video you're talking about from Brownstown, and I mean, yeah, what was the tower looking at? Were they not paying attention just because it was qualifying, 2 cars out on the track? No matter what, like you said, Will, put it back in the flagman's hands. He has the best seat in the house. He's looking at the track nonstop. I mean, I don't know what we're doing here. It's always better to be safe than sorry. I mean, right now, the Brownstown Tower and flagman are all sorry. They're all sorry about that car that flipped over the berm because of their laziness. Really, that's kind of what it boils down to. And I don't know. It's better to be safe than sorry. Let the person put a flagman in the stand that you trust as the race director to make those calls.
You don't want to hire them at a tape agency.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, you're not going to hire a flagman you get off the temp agency.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why would you? And if you are, it's your own fault that shit like that happens.
Yeah.
So as a race director, if you want to be this power-hungry person to where you make the final call, it's your say-so, at least put it back in the flagman's hands to where you hire somebody that you trust, you believe in, to make the right call.
For incidents on the track.
It makes your job easier.
For incidents on the track.
Job easier.
You can still be a race director. You can still be a race director, but for incidents on the track and looking at the landscape, let the flagman have the power. For lineups, rules, regulations, enforcing, fine, be the race director. But anything that happens on the track, let the person that has the best view in the damn seat of the house have the control.
Yep.
Well,
this
brings
is
up
pretty
another
obvious
thing,
right
too.
here, I think. Let the person with the flags that are going to be waving the flags and flipping the light switches, let them have control of the flags and the light switch.
Bingo.
But I was wondering, too, a lot of tracks, like at Sportsdrome, they'll have different officials in different corners of the track with the radio, and when they see something happen in that end, a lot of times they'll say something like, hey, this guy is stalled here, he's starting up, or there's a piece of debris over here. So it seems like I don't know what the follow-up was on the incident at Brownstown, but I could see them either having like someone spotting, like watching those kind of things now and qualifying, or they might just go back to single car qualifying and be done with it.
Well, I mean, Brownstown's small enough you could do single car qualifying, but just don't be a dumbass. I mean, use common sense. I mean, let the flagman look. And you're right, Harold. Like, I'm not taking nothing away from you because you and I have been in press boxes across the country that people will get so pissed that a flagman will throw a flag that they're not called to do. I get what you're saying, but you split it up. Hey, race director. Hey, flagman, please help me watch. If you think a flag needs to be thrown and you see something that I don't and I'm just too slow to call it, go ahead and wave that flag. Flagman, okay, thank you. If you could just handle go ahead.
It's just what you said there, the race director. A lot of times he's focused during a race. He's watching 2 or 3 cars bumping and shoving each other to try to make a possible call, like someone spins somebody. He's not looking over here at the other turn, what's going on over there. Yeah,
so I just think it's I'm not calling anybody personally, I'm not calling anybody out, but just don't be a dumbass. Use common sense. This 2026 thing about race directors being everything from a flag thrower, puppet tier, controlling the flagmans. Look, let the flagmen throw a flag if they need to.
Yeah, and it might help us keep the flagman from being completely discarded, because we've talked about, or have we seen that before where they've talked about not having a flagman at all and just having lights?
Yeah, the Pennsylvania person has a robot.
Yeah.
The track. I mean, you want to keep
let's not go there, please.
Yeah, let's keep everyone relevant. And If anything, this past couple weeks ago, let it be an example learned that you still need a flagman. Because when you do not utilize a flagman, cars get torn up, drivers possibly get injured, and you don't want that to happen. So that's my opinion.
Let's throw this out there, too. The kids love seeing the flagman, right?
I mean, the kids are the flagmen. I mean, you don't really need a flagman because the kids flag at every track. So
I know. So you don't want to take that flag. That's part of the entertainment for the kids, right?
That is. And if we need a flagman, there you go. Most of these kids out here are better flagmans than most. So there you go.
There you go.
We'll take our first commercial break. I'll grab a shot of tequila and a Xanax real quick on our break. And when we come back, we'll talk
Pass it around.
There you go. Pass it around. We'll talk to the driver of the number 34C Crown Vic at Salem Speedway this weekend, Mr. Chase Adams, when we come back on the Wild Will Throwdown. Race fans, in 2026, we celebrate 5 years of the podcast, the Wild Will Throwdown. And in 2026, we cannot thank our great marketing partners for what they do for us, including the Salem Speedway, the Sportstrom Speedway, KKR, Indianapolis Speedrome, Elite Outdoor Services, Shears Drain Cleaning, Kentucky Clutch and Performance, Forklift Rescue, Diesel Boys, Park Fans, Hoosier Auto Racing Fans, Flag to Flag Media, Roosters, Marshall Jaggers Racing, Derby City Recycling, Polk Brothers Racing, John McLaren Motorsports, Shane Wilson Lawn Care, Sean Smith Race Cars, Circle City Raceway, Victory Lane Frenchies, Oink Incorporated, Hadley Towing and Recovery, Code 3 Roofing, KJ Enterprises, The Smile Center, Clap Mowing and Landscaping, LaFever's Curbing, El Tarasco Mexican Restaurant, and S&R Towing. We cannot thank our beautiful marketing partners enough for their success and their support in 2026. And welcome back to the Wild Will Throwdown, season number 5, partnering with Soldiers in 2026. Now on the hotline, a driver who drives the number 34 in the Crown Vic division on the Mike's Muffler and Big Track series, Mr. Chase Adams. Chase Adams, thank you for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me.
So, Chase, let's jump into it. You did not start, Crown Vic racing at Salem Speedway coming out of the gate. So let our listeners know how you actually got involved in short track racing.
It just happened. I mean, most of it was when I was little. I used to go sports drone and used to cheer on the yellow and blue dromer, which everybody knows that's Chris Workman.
Yeah,
kind of got me going. And Ricky Puckett, I used to like watching him run front wheel drives. He kind of got me going. And then Dad, he raced here and there. He was pretty decent what he had. Most importantly, he just ran just to have fun. Didn't really take it too serious. But started with that, and then got myself a go-kart and learned everything through go-kart racing. Made a lot of good friends, some enemies, and then worked my way up to a legend. And I didn't really enjoy the legend too much just because they were so hard to drive, and you have a lot of money to back them up, and got to pay somebody good to set them up too.
Exactly.
So then I decided to get a Crown Vic, and it was pretty affordable for the most part. I think still to this day it might be the cheapest form of racing that's halfway good competition. And you can go dirt races, and you got big names still racing them. So
yeah, it's pretty incredible. You can load it up from an asphalt track on Friday night and go to a dirt track on Saturday with the same setup. Pretty impressive.
For the most part, yep. Just take them windshields out.
Yep, that's it. So Chase, of course, then you go, of course, getting ready for the big track racing at Salem Speedway. There was a lot of non-believers about the big track Crown Vics. There was a lot of believers about the Crown Vic short track. Short track versus the big track. We all know that. As far as calling races, that's some of my favorite races to call is the big track Crown Vics, because you guys are so equal in times and you're close together, and you have to, the strategy comes into play on do you save tires, do you not, the cone choose rule and all of that fun stuff. Talk about the first time you actually got your first big track win. I know that had to mean a lot to you.
Most definitely, because I swear I've been struggling at Salem. That track is hard to get around. But Man, I got pretty much lucky with that one, I think, which I knew I had a car to win. It's just there's so many things that can go right, go wrong. These cars ain't meant for it, so it's just like Paul Hartledge just had a nasty wreck.
Yeah.
And no idea why, and them guys they definitely keep up with their maintenance. I know that for a fact. They work hard on them, so I don't think they missed anything. In my opinion, it's just one of them deals. It's just never know.
Yeah, and looking at it from your perspective, this year you haven't really made all of the races at Salem Speedway. You debuted a brand new car. What are you looking forward to? And the reason we're talking right now, what is your expectations? You got 37 cars entered so far. You've got 36 other competitors out there for the Firecracker 100 on Friday night. So what is your expectations going into that main event on Friday for you guys?
I definitely win because I won the Spooky 200, and that's the biggest race of the year, hands down.
Sure.
The Firecracker would definitely top it off. I really want to join that winning bracket with Ronnie Basham and Noah Allison because they both won the Spooky races and the Firecracker races, and I'm still just that one race I won.
So, yeah, I mean, you look at it, the Firecracker 100 and the Spooky 200, definitely the two iconic events for you guys on the Crown Vic side of things going into it. But, talk about your marketing partners real quick. I mean, you have between Juneberry Tire Soak and Cuts, SS Fabrication, Sean Smith, and Edco Welding, Mr. Eddie Van Meter. You got a lot of good partners on that car this year.
Yeah, I definitely got a lot of good friends out of them, too. Not just marketing partners, but really good friendships. And I got guys that still help me, and there's some they just can't because life's too hard. I understand, but man, I gotta thank obviously Sean Smith, Juneberry, Trent Westfall Motorsports, Echo, Two Little Bees, Robert Lord, Highway Mufflers, my girlfriend Gabby, Turkey Bash, and Jozo and Sanos, Inflatable, Bubba Fab, John McLaren, Mason Keller, DK Salvage and Snow Removal, Tent World, and Penny Pincher, and Broken Halo Racing. And I believe that's everybody. If I missed somebody, I'm sorry.
Hey, you know what? That's an impressive list of people. Getting around Salem Speedway, any race must less a 100-lapper this Friday night. Going to be a good one. So now my question to you is, before we end this podcast interview, it's going to be well over the 100-degree mark as far as the heat index goes. What does Chase Adams do to prepare for Friday night in this Crown Vic race?
Oh, that's a good one. Just don't work yourself too early.
Yeah.
If the car ain't going to be right, just don't overthink it. Like I said, don't work yourself. Just be relaxed because it's going to be a long day.
Yeah, so do you hydrate 2 to 3 days before, or are you one of those guys that don't worry about it and just get up and drink the same day?
I just try not to worry about it, man, but definitely will not be drinking any sodas, just a couple Red Bulls.
There you go. It gives you wings, so maybe that'll give the car wings as well.
Hopefully, I need it.
Well, hey, buddy, we're cheering for you. We hope you get a good run this weekend in the Firecracker 100 on Friday night during the Crown Vic portion, buddy. And thanks for taking the time to chat with us this week. I know you guys and the Great American Stock guys are getting busy and ready to go for this weekend's Firecracker 200 weekend at Salem Speedway. So we'll see you there, and good luck.
Thank you, and thank you for having me on the show. It means a lot to me and my sponsors.
And welcome back to the Wild Will Throwdown, and that was the driver of the number 34C, Chase Adams. And man, Harold Adams, you and I are going to have a big job calling that Crown Vic race this Friday night.
As always, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. We always get these big events for those Crown Vics. I mean, they don't let us down at all. So, I mean, it's going to be a big car count, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, then our next guest here, and we're going to go on and get to that, but I tell you what, Harold Adams, this guy has a good finish coming. Coming up next is going to be the driver of the number 74 Chevrolet and the Great American Stocks, Austin Baum. And I know you know Austin Baum from front-wheel drive days. He's been runner-up, third place all year long, and he wants that win this Saturday night.
Yeah, it's good to see him up his game finally on that. They've been working hard on that street stock and everything. Of course, like you said, he ran in my front-wheel drive divisions and was dominant. down the stretch here. And so now he's starting to show flashes of that in the street stock. So those guys better look out.
Yep, and so we're going to go on and shoot it to him. Our guest coming up next is going to be the MR Heating and Air El Tarasco of Shepherdsville, Baum's Racing Supply Chevrolet, the number 74 of Austin Baum. And welcome back to the Wild Will Throwdown, season number 5, partnering with Indy Warrior Partnership. Now on the hotline, a gentleman who really has had a bad luck string going on as of late in the Great American Stock Series, but this weekend he looks for a great finish, if not that number 1 finish, Mr. Austin Baum in the number 74 Chevrolet. Austin, thanks for taking the time to join us, and man, what a year you've had so far.
Yeah, thanks, Will, for having me on. It's been a wild ride for sure. We've had a little bit of bad luck, some our own, some not, and we're hoping to capitalize on the good runs we've been having.
Hey, no doubt, man. Yeah, no doubt. We'll talk about it a little bit. We're not going to get into the details. I mean, the first race that we've called the string of bad luck, I call it. You were coming to the finish line out of turn number, I believe it was the white flag or checkered flag when you were coming out of turn number 4.
The first. Well, if we go back even 1 week prior to that,
gotcha.
Opening night, I was what I would call on cruise control. Riding right there behind Chucky Barnes, and went to pass him, and we had a rear gear come apart.
Oh, man.
Our own negligence from the Halloween race before. We had a inner axle seal leaking and didn't have it fixed like we thought, and it burnt the gear up. And then the race that you're speaking of, we were leading with 3 or 4 to go, and I lifted going in turn 3, and it spit the carrier bearing nut off the gear.
Oh.
And it was like you hit the clutch going in turn 3, 115, 120 mile an hour. It's like you hit the clutch, so it felt like it just sped up. By the time I figured out what was going on, I was already in the fence. And, cost us a win there with just a few laps to go.
Ultimately, Trent Bear took the win.
Yeah. I was glad to see, as much as I wanted to win. I'm glad to see Trent win. He's put in a bunch of hard work over the past few years, and he's had some strings of bad luck himself. So I was happy to see him pull one off finally.
And that's what I told Trent. It sucked for Austin. He even said that in the victory lane speech. But I said, I'm sure Austin is happy that you were the one to take the green flag, but you put yourself in the right position at the right time. If you weren't second, someone else was going to take it. So definitely earned that one. And then, of course, the last race out, of course, contact with Barnes. We're not going to get on all of that. But then, of course, that took you out of contention. And then now, and I said this in victory lane to you, not getting involved in anything that went on there, but you said it perfectly. I said, this has to give you some motivation on how the momentum that 74 team has performed, no matter the bad luck. You guys have to be looking forward to going into this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. I've got more confidence now than I have ever had going up there. I think we've been racing 7 or 8 years at Salem now, full time. This is definitely the best car we've had.
Yeah.
And I was telling a couple guys earlier, I have more confidence now, and good or bad, I have an even bigger chip on my shoulder. I feel like we should have won every race this year.
Sure.
And I feel like I'm very humble when it comes to talking about how fast we are and how competitive we are. And I haven't been this competitive since realistically our front wheel drive days, which you know about that.
Yeah.
So I hope the fastest guys around show up, and I want to beat everybody on their best night. I feel that confident that we have a good piece. If we can go the full 100 laps, there's no reason we shouldn't be on the front stretch at the end. But to say I'll be a little bit disappointed if it's not a first place, I know it sounds a little cocky, but that's how I feel like our season's going. I need one.
Well, I've talked to the second place. I've talked to the third place, Austin Baum. What's left is just getting there into the top tier of the victory lane. And like you said, I'm sure you guys at the shop are going over every nut and bolt check possible on that 74 team this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sitting out in front of the garage here now because we got the fans blowing in there. We had a little bit of the Shepherdsville mudslide take over this weekend.
Yeah.
So we had some cleanup work. We got fans drying it out, and my dad and our good buddy Mike in there, nut and bolt check, doing all the maintenance we can, packing wheel bearings, changing oil, making sure this thing will go 100 laps, 100 qualifying laps if I've got to put on a show for the fans and hopefully bring home that checkered flag and that nice paycheck at the end.
So now I get to talk to you about how Austin Baum prepares for a race like we're going to see over 100 degrees in the car this weekend. Obviously, it's summertime. It's July. It's southern Indiana. The humidity is absolutely over the top. So how do you prepare for getting into the car this weekend during that over 100 degrees in the car?
So it's funny. I was doing this. It's one of my rituals every summer whenever these big races are coming up, and I know it's going to be a hot weekend. I had a Facebook memory pop up today. It's one reason why I was laughing. In the summertime, like we're coming up for this 4th of July race, I will drive to and from work in my truck with the windows up and the heat on.
Wow.
Just to try, I've got probably a 25, 30-minute ride, and I'll do that just to get comfortable with the heat,
Smart.
I feel like it's a big thing one of the first firecrackers I ever ran was the most uncomfortable I've ever been in a car because we had a long red flag. And I've never been claustrophobic in a car until that race probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Wow.
We had a red flag for about 20 minutes, and I was doing everything I could, pouring water on myself, trying to get some kind of air movement, whether it was, fanning myself or trying to lift my helmet up to get some air in. But since then, I try to, obviously hydrate as much as I can, but just to acclimatize myself with the heat, ride around with the windows up and the heat on. And,
that's impressive. That's what I was going to ask you mentality-wise. This weekend, the format, do you guys plan on practicing a lot coming out of the gate, or do you guys just kind of want to get every lap you can turned on that car?
I feel pretty confident in the car. We're showing up Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Depending on how we unload, I might run 5 or 6 laps, or I might run 20. I'll definitely do one long run, probably 10 to 15 laps, just to see where we stack up. I feel like that's where some of the guys slack a little bit. They're fast in qualifying, and then 10 laps in the race, it's like they threw a boat anchor and they start falling back. But they don't know what their car does on a long run until after the race, and you got to take good notes and then trying to get guys there after you've been running for 50, 75 plus laps and you're hot and wore out. You're just ready to load them and go home. But that's when the notes count the most. So we're just trying to do all we can and show up with the best piece forward and go from there.
Now, this is a question I've wanted to ask. I've had many great American stock drivers on the show here, but I've never really asked this question, from Dave Baines to Trent Bear and everyone in between. Salem Speedway, one of the toughest tracks to drive. Yes, we know that, the 33-degree banking over half-mile course. But does it make a difference when you go start the season from a spring race to a July night over 100 degrees, humidity, heat index? Does that track, is it a little more trickier to drive and handle?
A little bit. I think the heat plays more of a mental factor. Obviously, the tires get a little greasy on the longer runs. But I was actually doing some research last night, looking back at lap times. When we ran the race the same night as the modifieds, the temperatures were somewhat comparable.
Okay.
It might have been just a little bit hotter to the race before that. But my average lap time was 0.3 of a second slower in roughly the same heat. And I think that's just due to the rubber difference. Now, obviously, the very first race and usually the end of the race, we like to say if there's leaves on the track, it's going to be fast because it's nice and cold. But once you get kind of in the middle of the season, it's not much different. It's more of the mentality, guys getting hot, running harder. That's what burns your equipment up. So I'm going to try to go into it the same mindset, be smooth and consistent, and cruise around for at least 50 laps, maybe a little bit longer, depending on where we're at, and try to put on a show there at the end and pull one off. No
doubt, and I know you guys will. It just takes me to another question. I know you guys got a lot of support. It's not really a question, really a statement. You guys have so much support. I mean, I see your crew, your family down there on pit road each and every time by the Baum's Racing Supply truck. Your dad, who I believe your dad is the calm of everyone. When you were heated, and of course not going to get into what, but your dad was telling everybody, shut up, calm down. We'll get to the bottom of this. I love seeing that out of Brian. Because he seems like he has the grasp on everybody, and that's great, and how much of a veteran he is. Your mom, your wife, I mean, your kiddos, I mean, everything that goes on. You do have a kid, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I wanted to make sure I got it right.
A year and a half.
That's what I thought. Year and a half. Still hard to believe you're a dad, though. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I pinch myself every day. Well, I don't pinch myself. He does for me.
I'm telling you. But, Rich, MR Heating and Air, Juan, El Tarasco, your dad, Baum's Racing Supply, all of your marketing partners. I know Ron's going to be there this weekend. Yep. You have a lot of support behind you going into the weekend, and I know you will say it, you're as blessed as anyone is, but how does it make you feel to have all of that support?
Man, it's awesome. It's a little bit surreal at times. It's a whole family organization.
Sure.
I've had people say, "Oh, you just got daddy's money." Well, dad puts in money. Mom and dad do for sure.
Sponsor.
But we're blessed by our other sponsors who put in well more than he does. And just because your name or whatever, this and that. And really, at the end of the day, these people came to us and they stayed with us because we've become friends. And realistically, I look at everybody that's on our car and everybody that comes with us every weekend as family. We hang out with these people all week long, whether we're racing or not. My parents go out to eat with a couple of our sponsors every weekend. It's a family ordeal, and we want them to have fun. And as long as they're having fun, we're having fun.
Bingo.
It's the whole balancing act. People just you're just lucky. I wish I could get that lucky. No, it takes some effort. Make everyone feel involved, like they're having a good time, and it's about building relationships with these people. Bring them in, and lifelong friendships really after the fact. Every one of them, like I said, I consider family and would do anything for them at the drop of a dime. So we are very blessed, and I'm glad to have all of them in our corner. Yeah,
no doubt. And that leads me to my final question. Who would you like to thank on that number 74 going into the Firecracker 200 weekend?
Obviously, my wife, she keeps me grounded when I get a little too stressed out.
Sure.
Taking care of the kiddo when I'm out in the garage late at night. So without her, I wouldn't be able to do this to the extent that we are. My mom and dad, for giving me the foundation to start and being there every week. Support. There's days where I think they enjoy it more than I do, and sometimes that's hard to believe. Then we've got our core group of sponsors: Rich at MR, Juan at El Tarasco, my buddy Ben at Thrive Realty.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law Matt, Ernst Landscaping, Shane Wilson Lawn Care, Barnes Auto Service. They give me. I know we had our run-ins on the track, but he was one of the first people to call me, and we've had a couple long conversations since then.
Sure.
I still consider them family, love them to death. I wouldn't be in the position I am without them. My brother, keeping the car looking good. Usually at the start of the year, it looks a little rough right now, but a pretty race car don't win races. Joe Williamson Race Engines, Scott Perkins Carburetors. They've given us a heck of a horsepower combination where we can compete for these wins. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody. I'm not sitting in front of the car, but I think I got most of them. But there's a whole group of guys that help us out. Like I said, Mike in the shop, John Groove shows up on the race weekends. They hang out and help us out a bunch, and all their significant others. Making sure all the guys are cooled off, well fed. We usually got a buffet spread down there in the pits. Keep everybody calm and collected. It's just, like I said, it's a big family organization, and I'm totally blessed to have all of them.
Well, Austin, I appreciate the time. I know you're busy cranking wrenches and doing a nut and bolt check on that number 74 Chevrolet for this weekend's Firecracker 100. Buddy, we wish you the best of luck, and hopefully, we'll be talking to you at the number 1 spot this Saturday night.
Man, I hope so. I'll talk to you here soon.
Hey, Wild Will Throwdown fans, Will Greenwell here. If you're into all types of racing like I am, then you need to check out the all-new Flag to Flag Media show each and every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Just go to Flag to Flag Media, that's flag, the number 2, Flag Media on Facebook and give them a like, or YouTube and subscribe. They will cover all of your dirt racing needs around the region. Flag to Flag Media. Check them out. And welcome back to the Wild Will Throwdown season number 5. That was Austin Baum and the number 74 Chevrolet. Excited to see what Austin can do this Saturday night in the Firecracker 100 at Salem Speedway under the lights. Well, gentlemen, here we go. Let's talk about it. 250 years. America is being celebrated this weekend and 4th of July. And Harold, that's what I was thinking about. 4th of July weekend during race season. Man, this is a good time to be at a racetrack this Saturday that 4th of July falls actually on a Saturday.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Don't always get to go to a racetrack on the 4th of July. I know Anderson always does a 4th of July race no matter what day it plans on. And I've been up there a few times for those events, but, not a lot, and especially recently. So it's kind of neat. The 4th of July is on Saturday, so, of course, celebrating 250. So should be a pretty wild night.
Yeah, no doubt. And of course, if you are in the area, fireworks this year are going to be twice as better because it is obviously the 250th anniversary of America. But you have all of these racetracks simultaneously actually having fireworks. We're going to kick it off where Hawk Harold Adams and myself are going to be this weekend. Salem Speedway, fueled by the Hoosier Lottery and powered by the John Jones Auto Group. Him and I will both be on the call this weekend. Harold Adams, we kick it off on Friday night. The Bandoleros, Legends, Crown Vic Future Stars, Salem Supercars, and the Crown Vics and the Firecracker 100. That's going to be a big night of action.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff going on there. And like I said, the Crown Vics never disappoint. So looking forward to that as the main event that night.
So far, 37 cars. We approach 50, I believe, when it's all said and done this weekend. Saturday night, of course, the iconic Firecracker 100. But a lot of different things as well on Saturday. Crown Vic Short Track Modified Figure 8, Crown Vic Figure 8, and how about this? School Bus Figure 8, School Bus on the High Banks Challenge, Fireworks Show, and the Great American Stock Series Firecracker 100. But Harold Adams, School Buses on the High Banks, how about that?
Yeah, I know. We start talking about that. It's like, nope, I don't think anybody knows what to expect on that race. That's what's going to be so wild about that. We just don't know. So everybody's going to be watching to see how that pans out.
And yes, I was supposed to race a bus, but I wisely backed out. 2 back surgeries in 2000.
Out?
I did wimp out. I mean, 2018, I had 2 back surgeries. I'm not going to lie. Flipped 2 buses after my back surgery. I know. 2 back surgeries, flipped 2 buses after my back surgeries at Sportsdrome. It was wise. I'm kind of uneasy a little bit on it. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of things I do, but 33-degree banking in a school bus, yeah.
I told you I wouldn't do it, so I'm glad you decided not to either. Just let those other guys figure it out.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy, that's for sure. But Dalton Connor, what do you got this weekend going on?
I may be heading down where you guys are. That sounds like a good time down there.
Well, come on down. We'll save a spot in the VIP booth with you. You can come up in the announcer's booth with us.
Yeah, special guest announcer for a race or two.
Hey, come on up.
We can just do a podcast there.
Yeah, you may see me.
There you go. Nice in the air conditioner, too, by the way.
Make sure it's working, Will.
Yeah, it will be. Trust me. Indianapolis Speedrome going to have a big night this weekend. Factory front-wheel drive, the street stocks, Ford Oval, Ford 8, Mini Outlaw Figure 8, and Oval Outlaw Figure 8 going to be taking place in their 51-lapper. Brownstown Speedway, there you go. The Born Free 40, Super Late Models, Super Stocks, Pure Stocks, and Hornets. The Lincoln Speedway, going to have a big one for USAC. It's the USAC Spectacular. Friday night, $6,000 to win. Saturday, $10,000 to win. Support classes Friday will be the Bombers, and Saturday will be the Super Stocks. Florence Speedway in Kentucky, Thursday night, July the 2nd, going to be regular classes, Demolition Derby, and fireworks as well. Lake Cumberland Speedway, here you're going to hear the theme of fireworks. Lake Cumberland, Friday on July the 3rd, $3,500 to win Pro Late Models, $1,200 to win for the Pro Late Models, $1,200 to win Modifieds, $1,000 to win Crown Vics, $500 to win Hobby Stocks and Front Wheel Drives and Fireworks. Richmond Raceway on Saturday, July 4th, $3,000 to win Modifieds, Street Stocks, and Crown Vics, and a fireworks show. And there you go, Harold Adams. Anderson Speedway, Figure 8 Madness, Ford Figure 8, Ford Front Wheel Drive, Figure 8, school buses, trailer races, and fireworks. One of the best trailer races, Harold Adams, at the Anderson Speedway.
Yeah, they usually put on a pretty good show up there. I've seen a lot of destruction up there for sure.
No doubt. But I tell you what, gentlemen, what a show it was today. But we got to give our white flag final moments, and I'll send it to Dalton Connor first. Dalton going to take an easy off weekend here this weekend. Hopefully he'll come down to Salem Speedway and join us. But Dalton Connor, what's your final thoughts halfway through the season?
Well, I wish I had a little bit more wins halfway through the season. I will say that, and less tore up shit. But no, it's been pretty good racing for me. When I do finish, I've had good finishes. So hopefully I can keep that up the rest of the season, and hopefully Salem's a good show, because I'm really wanting to go down to that, really to watch the school buses on the high banks, just to see what that's about.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Everyone's talking about that. No one knows what to expect, which that's the fun of it. And what a schedule that is too, Harold Adams. Real quick before your final thoughts, we have the High Bank Challenge for the school buses. We have the Great American Stocks 100, and we have the School Bus Figure 8. So a little bit of a different schedule there.
Yeah, it's going to change it up. Like I said, it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. Nobody really knows how it's going to be. I'm sure all eyes will be watching those school buses. And then, of course, finishing it up with, of course, the Crown Vics on Friday. They're going to put on a show. And then Street Stocks will do their 100-lapper on Saturday. And fireworks, too. So there is a lot going on. So I expect a pretty good crowd.
No doubt. And it's going to be a great time this weekend. And we here at the Wild Will Throwdown want to wish everyone a happy 250th 4th of July this weekend. Be safe, of course. Don't shoot your finger off or anything like that with bottle rockets. Don't be sticking bottle rockets down your pants. Don't do any of that. So there you go. It's a great kid time growing up for me. But guys, this was a great show. Crazy show. We love off script. That's what we do here at the Wild Will Throwdown. I want to thank all of our marketing partners for all they do for us each and every time. I want to thank the drivers, crews, and everyone for their contributions. Harold Adams and Dalton Connor for coming on each week, being on the Wild Will Throwdown podcast. And of course, for all of you fans, if it wasn't for you, we would not have a podcast. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Happy July, and get ready for the second half of the 2026 season.